Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Remember11, The Age of Infinity. And last time we were trying to figure out how to communicate with the outside world. Well, outside world besides, what's the guy's name? Sataru? Oh my gosh. When am I going to get this guy's name right? I feel really bad and guilty for not remembering his name, but we're communicating with him in a rather strange manner. And besides, he's kind of not communicating with the outside world either. He's stuck in his cabin on the snow in Kokoro's body. So let's keep rolling with this. Curious to see where it keeps going. I'm enjoying this game. Silently praying, I clicked on the icon to check network settings. There was access to the Spia's internal land, but it didn't connect to anywhere outside of it. Just to be sure, I opened the browser window, but it wasn't connected to the internet. The error could not establish connection was displayed on the screen. What did he used to say? 404 error? Is that what he used to say? I hated those. Wait, we did that one. Okay, browser, there we go. I missed one, huh? A software application that retrieves, traverses, and displays the information and resources from various sources, such as web servers or the internet on web pages. Pretty much Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google Chrome, right? Is that Google Chrome? I have Google Chrome. I don't use it. I don't like it very well, but mostly use Firefox. Completely unrelated, so let's move on. Itsumi and Hotori had come over and stood behind me. I turned around and screamed, "I can't watch YouTube videos! What am I gonna do with my life? I'm gonna have to start reading." That's probably what would happen to me. I like to read though. Just get really, really distracted with everything else. And don't... Oh, that's what she screamed about. Okay. So if anybody's having any medical problems, such as heart attack, stroke, anything, they have to wait a month. That doesn't seem like the best system in the world, does it? You need some sort of way to communicate, I would think. No, is there? Maybe there's like a flare. I couldn't think of the word flare until that flare. Instant word recognition and remembrance. Mouse slipped from my hand. Looking like a hanged rat, it swung like a pendulum from the side of the desk. Closed my mouth in the middle of the phrase. To explain that situation, I had to tell them everything about the Fuyukawa Kokoro who was in the shelter cabin after the plane crash, and about the personality exchanges. Do they believe it? Makes me a touch anxious. I explained the personality exchange. After my explanation was finished, Itsumi hugged me. She thinks I'm crazy. I'm totally not crazy. I mean, I happen to be in a crazy person's place, but I'm not crazy. She pulls my head to her breast. She believed me, I thought. But... I raised my head.
冬川心という人格が作り出した幻想。珍しい症例だけど DID となった場合、通常は出現した人格は他の人格の存在を知らないものよ。だけど稀に他の人格の存在に気づくことがある。
You think that? I was about to say with logic you would think that, but then again I guess perhaps insane people, they don't have logic receptors.
そういった場合、主人格の存在を認めたくなくて副人格が主人格を殺そうと自傷行為に走ることもあるの。
A internal coup d'etat. Coup d'etat? Coup d'etat? What is, oh crap, what is that phrase? The where you overthrow a government or something. Coup d'etat? Coup de grace? It's a coup, anyway. It's a coup. C-O-U-P. Coup. Doing the spelling bee. Let's go with these tips right here. Oh, is it just one? Oh, I bet it's inside the other. Oh, no, it's not inside the other. Dominant and alternate person. Oh, it was two different ones. I got you. In a person exhibiting so-called multiple personality disorder, the personality which is in control of the body for the longest periods of time is called the dominant personality. This is most often the original baseline personality which the person has had since birth. Other persona, which assume control of the body from time to time for shorter periods, are called alternate personalities. Okay. Oh, did I miss one? That's weird. I'm using the mouse wheel. Okay. Ah, yes, right there. It's the same deal.
有機道君の中に生まれた冬川心という人格も自分が副人格と認めたくなかった。自分にも主人格となり得る体があると主張するため人格交換という幻想を作り出したのね。違います。私はちゃんと存在するんです。赤倉岳の山の中に。そうでしょうね。有機道君が作り出した冬川心の人格は墜落事故で亡くなった冬川心さんをもとに作られたもののようだから赤倉岳に自分の体があると主張するのも無理はないわ。
Okay, here's a question. How does she know about her? She's somehow related to her? No, she said at the very, very beginning, through my hazy memory, about don't use that name with, to me. She's really angry. So how does she know that name? I mean, some tragedies you would remember the names, and I guess it's a sad fact that you wouldn't remember all the names, but you'd have to have a connection to be able to remember names that well, I would think. Because I mean, there was what'd they say, 30 people who died. So I guess it would make an exception. Yeah, the connection would be with Uni, wouldn't it? Possibly. Cause Uni's there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But there's gotta be a connection somewhere. And also, strange that she's saying it in past tense, meaning if she's dead somehow in a timeline somewhere.
そうじゃなくて。
I bit my lip. She didn't believe me. Sumi seemed like an expert in psychology. Of course, Sumi's explanation is much more believable than something unrealistic like a personality exchange. I glanced hopefully at Hotori. She shook her head, her face slightly fell. Oh man, that's horrible, Kokoro. A crazy person just was like, man, too crazy for me. I'm getting out of this conversation. I'm gonna go talk to myself over in the corner. You and whatever thing you think you got in you just stay there. Hattori also doesn't believe me. Then I noticed. Won't Uni believe me? He experienced the crash together with me. Surely if I can make him believe that inside of Yukito Satoru, I said that right earlier, dwells another personality, Fuyakawa Kokoro, then maybe he will believe the personality exchange occurred. He's a kid. He'll probably he could possibly believe a lot of things that aren't true.
ユニは今どこに？部屋へ行ったと思うけど。話聞いてくださって、今は信じてもらえないかもしれないけど、本当のことですから。冬川さん。
I left the living area, looking for Uni. I went over to his room. I haven't noticed any signs of Uni's presence in the room. Peeked into the living area and the underground storage area, but couldn't find Uni. As a last resort, I returned to Satoru's room.
もうこんな大事な時にあの子ってば避難小屋の自分の命だって危ないかもしれないのに。
Mumbling meaningless words, I heaved a sigh. I felt that he was acting strange yesterday, but if I think about it again, it's no wonder. I like how she's not really thinking it strange that Uni would be in two places at once, nor that people are saying that she's dead. I'm finding that a little strange that she's not thinking it strange. Again, maybe that's just me. Is there Uni existent? I'm done with this Let's Play. I'm done with it. I don't need to do it anymore. It's going to provide the commentary for you. I'll just sit back and just hit the enter button. Moreover, when I met the Uni at Spia, even though this is a strange way of referring to him, for the first time he said that he vividly remembered the crash. That means that the Unis in both places have that memory. Perhaps Uni is a twin, and they both go by the name Uni. Just had a really crazy thought that's too crazy. I was gonna say something really crazy like, there are two people with like the same personality, and they think they're the same exact person. No, that don't make any sense at all. That's a really silly idea. I don't think anything like that. No. I was gonna say, and they're like doing the same exact thing that Kokoro and Satoru is doing. But yeah, that don't make any sense at all. That don't make any sense. It's so hard to breathe, as if I was made, as if I was up to my neck in some kind of mire. What was engulfing me was a mire called Enigma. Who thinks that? I'm engulfed in a mire I call Enigma. Never said that once. I sat on the bed. I decided to lay out the problematic points one by one. First problem number one, regarding the real situation of the personality exchange phenomenon. According to note, I considered the existence of this body's personality, Yukito Satoru, confirmed. Myth confirmed. This is the proof that suggests the personality exchange is really going on. Why the personality exchange occurred, the reason for it, the principle behind it, and the way to break free from this phenomenon, didn't have the slightest idea about any of them. Personality exchange, those are really simple words, but behind them is a very deep mystery. And the second problem, why are there two Unis? Both the shelter cabin and Spia, I've seen Unis in both places. Both of them possessed a memory of the crash. I've noticed that due to the personality exchange, my personality seems to be jumping back and forth between these 2 points. But isn't this a big mystery as well? I have 2 hypotheses for it. First, maybe they are twins. Okay. What am I? That was mine. Them as they're identical twins, how likely is it for them both to have both their family and their given names be the same? Maybe they're raised by George Foreman. That would be an idea. George. You're George. George. And George. Yeah. And Georgia. Nah, screw that. George. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the parents have a really horrible memory and they're like, you can't keep up with these kids' names. We're just gonna all call them Uni. And gonna have like 5 of them, and then it'll be like 5 Unis. Second hypothesis: one of them is a copy of the other. In other words, a clone. Well, that would make sense. No, you would imagine that with me having played the other games, I would have thought of that. Because cloning is quite important in this series. That is an idea. But the memory of it would be the confusing part of it. How would... How would they be remembering the same memories? I don't know, maybe that wouldn't be that confusing. I mean, something like that happened in did something like that happen in that one by Arnold? By Arnold, yes, he made the whole movie. The movie with Arnold in it, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't remember the name of it. But people like pretty much dying, and they'd be like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'll have a clone. It's not a big deal. Boom. Oh yeah, I got shot. It didn't feel good, but whatever. I'm here. It seems like I remember something like that. Oh yeah, and I do. I remember there was a scene with too much Arnold. More than one is too many. Too many. That would be possible. But I'm not making any progress while I'm just sitting here. The law of cloning was passed in this country last year in 2010. Before that, cloning had been banned outright on the basis of ethics, but this law was then drafted. There have been several issues surrounding cloning, but it looks like they have finally been resolved. But a small number of clones may have integrated themselves into our society before the law was established. So it wouldn't be much of a surprise if Uni were a clone. There's no telling what a clone will do when he's confronted with the fact he's a copy of the original. This is FIA, a special psychiatric isolation facility. Could it be that Uni? No, wait. Wait, let's find out about this cloning law. Oh, I thought I missed one. Oh. So it just backed up. Get ready for the cloning episode, where we talk about the rules of cloning. I hope you got your notebooks ready. The bodies of all living things are derived from biological blueprints called genes. The methods used to analyze and manipulate the information stored in genes, recombination, synthesis, and other similar technologies are collectively classified under the umbrella term of genetic engineering. Currently, the technology enjoying the limelight in the field of genetic engineering is cloning technology. The dude's a clone, okay? They're not gonna write 13 freaking pages of a tilt if it's not important to the story. Or if he's not a clone, somebody is, but he's the suspect right now. Unless there's time travel. Then I don't know who's the clone if there's time travel. Maybe he's a cloned time traveler. I really don't know. The term clone is from biology. It refers to a life form produced through asexual reproduction, or I like to call it the non-fun way to do things, whose cells are perfectly genetically identical to those of its parent. Those born from this technology are called human clones. As an aside, the word clone is derived from the Greek word meaning cline, meaning twig. Okay. If you guys enjoyed that factoid. In 1987, the birth in England of the world's first somatic cell clone, a sheep named Dolly, was announced. The successful creation of Dolly shed new light on the potentials of genetic engineering. Dolly was different from the embryonic cell clones that had previously been born from reproductive cell tissue. She was cloned from the mammary tissue somatic cells of an adult sheep, making her the first somatic cell clone using nuclear transfer. Hereinafter simply clone in the world. In other words, the success of the technology to create a somatic cell clone using nuclear transfer served to verify the hypotheses that if somatic cells were available, it would be possible to bring any animal back to life as an exact copy, any number of times. So Arnold, for instance. After that, various transgenic clones were created, but since the process of their birth, cell development was viewed as diverging too far from the natural way, human cloning research was banned or otherwise strictly regulated. In the year 2001, the pronounced human-related cloning regulation law, or cloning law, as it's easier to say, was being enforced in Japan. Additionally, principal countries such as England, France, and Germany had prohibited the creation of human clones, calling it an affront to human dignity. However, the combined power of forces such as sheer human curiosity and fertility problems, and possibly the wish to meet the lost loved ones again, would not let it be stopped altogether. Thus, illegal research continued behind the scenes, and before long, the birth cries of the very first human clones were heard in the world. As a result, various protests and controversies took root, and in many countries, the ethical issue was back on the table for the furious debate about to unfold. In the midst of this, a trial concerning the issue of the birth of clones was held. The year was 2010. The accused, a certain lone scientist. He had created a clone of his son. Sounds familiar. And the reason for that, he said, was simply, I just wanted to see my son, who was killed in an accident, one more time, no matter the cost. But before long, his secret had been revealed, and thus judgment was pronounced upon him. And the result of the judge's decision was life imprisonment. However, when the content of the cloned boy's testimony was reported, it caused a complete turnover of public opinion, which grew powerful enough to lead to amendment of a law in the end. So what was it that the boy said so plaintively through his tears? Papa didn't do anything wrong. I'm so grateful to Papa, because Papa is the one who gave me this life. And so the same year saw the lifting of the ban of the birth of the human clones. Now anyone was free to use cloning technologies as a form of infertility treatment as long as permission from the proper authorities has been granted. Since then, legal human clones have continued to be born. It has even been estimated that by the year 2019, 1 to 2 of every 1,000 primary school children will be clones. Gee. That statistic sounds familiar. Every statistic that has been stated has always turned out true. I don't think, I highly doubt it. That's why they say estimates, because they expect it to be wrong. Or they're very well aware it could be wrong, I should say. As for the revised cloning law, for it to have been struck down by public opinion and rallied simply for the sake of the happiness of one small boy, perhaps it truly was a law that stood in opposition to human kindness. However, even after this amendment of the law, many problems still remained. Cloned people faced opposition and discrimination. As previously stated, the paradoxical method of their birth led some people to shun them. Since the clone's genetic information was perfectly identical to that of their nucleoplasm provider, genome mother or original, they were mockingly referred to as copies of the original. Okay. However, strictly speaking, this belief is mistaken at the time of the clone's creation. He or she inherits the mitochondria of the woman who provided the unfertilized egg, host mother. Since the genome mother and host mother are two different people, the clone cannot be said to be an exact replica of the original. Perhaps there is really no solution to such problems unless humanity gets more accustomed to clones with time and deepens their understanding of genetic engineering. Until then, clones and their supporters can only keep on hoping, believing that the day will surely come when clones can live without fear. Before there might be a Clone War reference. Finally, we shall introduce a certain person who had a global influence in the field of genetic engineering. He is Japan's Professor Morino Shigeru. I'll throw some R's in there. Since the latter part of the 20th century, Professor Morino has taken part in the International Human Genome Project, where he had been credited with the discovery of a groundbreaking method for analyzing the sequence of DNA. Furthermore, the professor himself is known to have been creating human clones. Like his daughter, right? Yeah, I think so. However, there are opinions as to exactly what number of successfully produced clones his achievements amount to, if any at all, and the truth remains uncertain. My word. There's a lot of reading. I think this is a good place to call it. That was a lot of reading. I hope you guys paid attention and took notes. There might be a test in the next episode on it. Hope you guys do well. I might have to clone better students. But anyway, I do hope you folks enjoy, and I shall see you in the next one. Farewell there, folks.